friends, welcome to Things from English Class. I'm Miss A, and today we're talking about theme. Now, we're not talking about theme through your sweet Android device, or your senior prom, or your Spirit Week. We're talking about literature here, so I'm gonna ask you to focus. Even if that prom dress you picked out is lit. Okay, I actually like this one, books and dresses. What a great combo. Theme is one of the tougher things to grasp when we study literature, but that stems from a bigger problem of people using lots of different ways to define theme. A lot of people, even teachers, have this idea about theme that it's this moral of the story or what the author is trying to teach you. If I went to Pinterest, the world's sweetest stash of teaching resources, and typed in literature themes, I would find way too many teachers trying to teach it in this way. Sorry, ladies and gents of Pinterest, but I'm going to try and say this as nicely as I can. No, 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 no. Please kindly stop. This is the literary equivalent of microwave your iPhone to charge it. You're going to look pretty silly and maybe feel a little sad about your poor decision making. But we'll get back to that in a second. I usually tell my students that it's the main idea of a book that you can usually fit into a 1 to 3 word phrase. It's a good rule of thumb, but even that isn't a complete definition.
It's now. Text. Book. Definition. Time.
The Cambridge Introduction to Narrative says that theme in literature is a subject that recurs in a narrative through implicit or explicit reference. It is also one of the 2 commonest forms of narrative repetition. Themes are also abstract. Basically, a theme is an idea that is present throughout a story, poem, or novel, either implied or explicitly stated through narration or dialogue. Abstract here just means that it isn't something tangible, or it's something that you can't touch. You might be able to poke your sister, or even worse, the perennially annoying, "I'm not touching you," but you can't touch the idea of family. Great examples of theme could be good versus evil, identity, coming of age, survival, or even death. That's because themes tend to be ideas that all humans struggle with, which is another reason that the old crusty book that your English teacher is making you read probably has some merit. Sorry, not getting out of it. Read your assigned text. A lot of students and even adults confuse this with the moral of a piece of writing, or the Pinterest theme. And this is why I like to use the 1 to 3 words rule of thumb. A moral would be a theme with an opinion attached. A moral is like the call to action of an argumentative essay, and it's what the author wants you to learn. So if a theme of, say, green eggs and ham is new experiences, a moral could be new experiences are good, because you never know when you will like something. Morals are a sentence with the theme and an opinion on its application to your life. Themes are 1 to 3 word phrases. Themes also help develop the plot. Green eggs and ham without the theme of new experiences is just a guy rhyming a lot about produce and deli products. It doesn't really make sense. The repeated theme of new experiences is what makes the story or the plot worthwhile and memorable. So how does theme work in an actual story, poem, or novel? Let's use The Hunger Games as an example. Warning, here there be spoilers. Basic summary, as The Hunger Games opens, we meet Katniss Everdeen, a young woman living in District 12 of a nation called Panem that we can easily describe as a totalitarian country, where each year every district offers up 2 teens as tribute to fight to the death in an event known as the Hunger Games. This is to celebrate the central government, known as the Capitol, claiming victory over the districts. So that sounds pretty awful, but to make matters worse, Katniss is, along with most of the folks in the districts, constantly working to make sure that she, her sister, and her mother don't starve, since her father, a coal miner and their only source of legal income, died when a mine shaft collapsed when Katniss was a kid. Katniss ends up volunteering as tribute when her sister is selected and heads off to the capital with the other tribute from her district, Peeta Mellark, to begin the fight of her life. Katniss and Peeta manipulate the rules to end up dual victors, but not without proving that the capital can be defied and inspiring citizens of Panem to revolt. End of Book 1. So where do themes pop up here? We'll take a look at my favorite theme in this book, survival. We could do love or whatever, but let's be real, Katniss don't need no man. And first, let's look at implied theme. The first chapter begins with Katniss describing her surroundings in District 12, and even though she is very clear that this is the day of reaping or selection for the games, we can believe that this is a pretty typical day for Katniss. She gets up early, sneaks past the district's fence, which is way against the law, and grabs her bow, also illegal to own, and gets ready to hunt. She doesn't hesitate in any of this because she knows it's how she puts food on the table for her mother and sister. Katniss is incredibly aware that she needs to be the one fighting for their survival because her mother has been in a state of depression since her father's death, and Katniss wants her sister to be a kid for as long as she can. As we get further into the book, there are other events where survival isn't stated but implied. Katniss struggles to find water in the arena. Katniss runs through the firestorm. Katniss fights other tributes. And when she isn't fighting for her survival, she's fighting for Rue's by hunting for both of them, or Peeta's by getting him medicine. Katniss wants to get back to her sister, and to do that, she must survive. Explicitly stated quotes about theme can be rare, especially in literature, but there are plenty in The Hunger Games. Let's look at survival again. As Katniss gets ready to head into the arena, she compares her friendship with Gale, another teen from District 12, to how she will now relate with Peeta. Gale and I were thrown together by a mutual need to survive. Peeta and I know the other survival means our own death. Not only does she recognize that her close relationship with Gale was not born out of mutual interest or not even, OMG, that boy is cute, but because she needs to survive. By contrast, she knows that she can't build a relationship with Peeta that way because if she wants to come home to her family, she can't let him stay alive. This is the driving force for much of Katniss's internal conflict. Even after the games, when Katniss and Peeta are receiving their crowns for their victory, Katniss needs to be worried about her survival since she has been accused of instigating a rebellion. Not good. She watches a film played as a recap of the games where she is calling after Peeta and states that in terms of survival, it's my best moment all night. She knows that she has every right to still be worried, and that when she appears to care for Peeta, it makes it that much more likely that President Snow won't come after her or her family. Remember, theme helps develop plot. Every time that the theme of survival is brought up, the stakes get a bit higher, which makes us as readers want to keep caring about Katniss and want to keep reading. And it keeps us invested because survival is a universal human condition. We all must work to keep living. So, review time. Theme is a repeated idea in a piece of literature and can either be stated outright or implied. It is usually based around a universal human condition that most readers will be able to relate to. Theme is different from a moral because a theme is an idea without an opinion, whereas a moral is what the author specifically wants you to learn. Theme also helps develop plot, which helps keep the audience engaged. Now, flex those theme muscles, show them off in your next literature assignment, and as always, thanks for watching, and best of luck in English class.